frame the thought of what you think of as a flaw and turn it really into a strength, because each and every person on this planet has an incredibly beautiful design. And all, between our quotes, you need to do is start working with it. And the magic will happen once you really start leaning into it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Onion Soup. And today I'm really excited to have our guest, Miss Nicoline. How are you doing today?
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm just really excited because you are a human design expert. And
Yes.
more than that, you help people utilize their human design to grow their businesses or in a business aspect. So tell us about that. First, what is human design?
Yeah. So I would say I help people to apply their human design in life and in business.
Mm.
And I have a background in training and coaching for over 30 years now. And I've never come across like an assessment or, a personality tool that was so spot on as human design. And when I encountered it like almost 7 years ago, I was really amazed at how spot on it is and how helpful it is and how practical it is. And that's when I start working with it for me. And then I started to apply it with and for my clients. And they were just like blown away with the results and with the insights. And because, especially in the online space, there is so much advice around, this is how you do business, this is how you make 10K months, this is how you get to a six-figure business, all these kind of, I would say, traditional advice. And many of my clients struggle with that. And they are like, yeah, but I tried everything, but why isn't it working for me? And that's where human design comes in. And then I show them their human design. And then it's, oh, I always wondered why. And now I am like, oh, that's why.
Mm.
So it gets more clear, it's more obvious. And once you know and understand, you know what to do instead. And that's what really makes the difference. And that's why I'm so thrilled and passionate about human design in business, because, yeah, because of this.
Interesting. So, what are the origins of human design, and how does that kind of differ from other other things like astrology or I Ching or Kabbalah?
Well, it is a combination. It is a combination of five elements, four, like I would say, spiritual learnings, and one science element. It's astrology, I Ching, Kabbalah. All these elements are part of human design. The Hindu Brahma chakra work, that's the fourth one. And then we have quantum physics. And that's where it really gets interesting, because we can measure energy, right? That's like a tangible thing. But based on all these elements and the combination of it all, that's what makes it so powerful. That makes it, I would say, rich and layered. Because as humans, we are very complex beings. And when you start out with human design, it's like learning a new language,
Mm.
basically. And then when you go like layer by layer and you go deeper and deeper into your design, you discover more and more. I mean, it's now my 7th year with human design. I'm still learning every single day. So it's, I would say, astrology is the starting point of human design, because you get your design based on your date of birth, time of birth, and place of birth. And then it combines all the elements from the I Ching, from Kabbalah, from the Hindu Brahma chakra work, and quantum physics all in one. And then you get an incredibly beautiful picture of the thing that we call your human design, your body graph. And that's your entire picture of who you are as a person. And it's not like you master it overnight. You need time. You need time to start understanding it, to start feeling it, to start living it. I always tell people, this is a journey of a lifetime, and it's exciting. It's an adventure.
So you mentioned the body graph, and
Yes.
my knowledge on human design is nowhere near yours. So
That's good.
what are those different body graphs, and what are the different types of energies that one can see?
Yeah. Yeah. So when we look at human design, we start with the five energy types. And the energy types in human design are the generator. The generator represents like the biggest group of population. It's 37% of people are generators. Then we have manifesting generators, that's 33%. We have projectors, that's 20%. Then we have manifestors, 9%, and we have reflectors, that's 1%. And each energy type, as we call it, has its own characteristics. Whereas generators and manifesting generators are the energy beings. Generators, manifesting generators have a consistent energy. They are the action takers, the doers, the people who roll up their sleeves and get things done. And their energy is like magnetic, provided that they do what lights them up. Then we have projectors who are like the wise guides. They are here to guide the majority of people and to be like the proverbial lighthouse to just send out a signal and guide people through life. Then we have manifestors who are basically the innovators, the leaders. And then we have the reflectors, and I always compare the reflectors, as they're very rare, to the canary in the coal mine, who are incredibly sensitive to their surroundings, to people around them, situations around them. And they can just sense when something is off and when something is right. So each and every design is beautiful and unique. However, stress and anxiety starts when we try to be something that we're not. And when I look at my own life in business, but in life in general, I tried to be something that I'm actually not. And when I found out about my human design, I was like, oh, this is something I can just stop doing because this is not me. I have another path, and it's unique and it's special, and it's uniquely designed for me, and that's all, between air quotes, what I need to do. But that's hard. That takes time to step away from the old habits and the old patterns, and that's what we call in human design, we call it deconditioning. And the deconditioning process takes about 7 years because, every cell in your being gets renewed every 7 years. So that's why we say, those old habits, it takes 7 years before you get rid of them. And then, of course, you cannot get rid of everything like that. So it's an ongoing process.
Interesting. So I'm a projector type,
Yes.
and, as a projector, I definitely found that when I start to learn what a projector is, it makes more sense with my life. So I've always been interested in science. I actually have a degree in science and or biochemistry, worked in the medical field. But while that was interesting, it wasn't really my calling. And I
Mm,
feel like doing things like this and talking to people such as yourself and getting out the knowledge and information is
yeah.
more in alignment. So how do people like such as myself, such projectors or such as generators or reflectors, how do people actually dive into what their energy type is?
Yeah, that's a great question. That really is a great question. So I am a generator. And the thing is, with first of all, knowing about your energy type, that's incredibly helpful. And with every energy type goes, and they have their own strategy. When you start following your own strategy, that's where you start diving into your design. For you as a projector, your strategy is to wait for the invitation. And the thing is, with a projector, like I said, they are the wise guides for us. They are the people who have the incredible ability to oversee the entire process and to see where the gaps are. And they can see where the generators and the manifesting generators are just going too fast and they skip some steps in the process. But projectors are incredibly good at spotting the gaps, seeing the bigger picture and seeing, oh, but this is connected. Oh, and that is connected. And that's why you, with this podcast, you have the best job that you can take on as a projector. So looking at that, okay, you're a projector, this is what you do, you're here to guide us. And so that's where it starts, diving into your design. Then you start looking at your strategy is waiting for the invitation. For many people that's hard. It's hard to understand, it's hard to grasp, but it doesn't equal doing nothing. Waiting for the invitation means that you just send out a signal, and when people are ready, they will invite you. And then they will ask you, like, oh, but what do you think? Oh, tell me, what's your perspective? What is your vision? And then makes much more sense for you to react, because as a projector, and I don't know if you can relate to this, please tell me if you can see things that go wrong. You can see where people are doing things that are not right for them. And you just know, but you don't want to come across as a know-it-all. So sometimes you sit in your hands like, I know this is not right, but you don't say it. But at some point when people invite you, then it's, oh, thank goodness, I can just express it. Because if you do without invitation, you express it and you say, oh, I don't think this is right for you. People will see you as a know-it-all, or yeah, 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 right. Yeah, just, let me do this. And when you're invited, then people are ready to listen. So for a projector, it's really important to understand and find their way in the strategy. For a generator like me, the strategy is waiting to respond. I always knew that my strength as a generator is my energy. People love my energy. They love to be around me. Whenever they're down or tired or uninspired, they come to me and they're like, oh, it's like charging a battery. I've always known this, that this is my thing, but I never understood the waiting to respond bit, especially in business. It's, like the Nike slogan, just do it. And I initiated and I was like, yeah, but I need to launch, I need to sell, I need to do things, but it never worked. People didn't buy. And I didn't get it. I was like, why? Why is that? And then I understood finally, after really diving into my design, I was like, oh, I need to wait to respond. So I need to look for questions that people ask me. Oh, how do you apply this in business? Or, oh, I'm struggling with my messaging, or I'm struggling to get the right clients. Oh, now I can respond and I can create a program for that. Now I can help you with my coaching, and not, oh, this is what I do. And I when I start forcing and pushing, I know it's not going to work. I'm not following my strategy. And so to go back to your question, what can you do to dive into your design is, first of all, understanding your energy type, and then start following your strategy, and third is following your authority. And your authority is your decision making tool. And every design has its own decision making tool. And that's when you start following that, then you've got like 75% of your human design covered. And that already makes a huge difference.
Wow, Nicoline, you described me to a T. So, it's funny because you're exactly right. As a projector, it took a while for me to understand what it means to wait for the invitation, and a lot of times I would just do nothing. I interpret it as, I'll just do nothing. But if you do nothing, then you never get an invitation.
Mm,
So, I learned that it was more important to just put the energy out there, to put the information out there, and if people like it, then great. If people
that's
have
it.
questions, they'll ask.
That's it. That's it. And the right people will come to you. So with this podcast, I think you're just doing the right thing. You know, you're like the lighthouse. You send out a signal and the right people will come to you. And the thing is with waiting for the invitation is that you can kind of issue the invitation when you see people struggling, when you see people need you and you're not invited, then you can say, you know, guys, I may have an idea for you. Would you like to hear it? And when they say yes, because no one ever says no to such a question, right? So when you get a yes, then you are invited and then it works.
That's exactly how that works. So
Yeah.
we were talking about with business and what you can do about it
Yeah.
to kind of grow yourself and lean into becoming a better entrepreneur. But in what ways can human design help you in your personal life? Say, knowing your design pattern and your partners, or knowing your partners and your children.
Yeah. So, well, basically, those are two questions. The thing with the business is when you really understand your own human design, it really helps to go from pushing and forcing to running your business with ease and flow. Because when you follow your strategy, you follow your authority, then things really start to fall in place. So, to give you an example, I'm a generator. So, I'm easily enthusiastic about things. People tell me things, I'm like, yeah, I love it. Before I I said yes to everything. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's great. I'm going to do that." Now I know I need to follow my strategy. Follow my strategy is waiting to respond. The respond is, okay, I got a question. I got, I don't know, a cue that I wanted to respond to. Oh, yeah, I could do that. But does it really light me up? Do I really feel enthusiastic about this? Does this contribute to what I want to do in the world? And then I follow my authority, my decision making tool. I have emotional authority, which means I need time. So I need to sleep on it for 2 or 3 nights. And what happens is that there is this emotional wave that I go through. When the question gets asked, would you like to be involved in this project? My enthusiasm, my energy is like high and yeah, I want to do it. But and before I said yes, but then the next day I could be on a low and oh my God, why did I say yes to this? Now I know I need to wait out the entire emotional wave. So always tell people, can I come back to you about this? And then I wait out the entire wave. And at some point, I'm neutral in my energy and my emotion. And then I know, yeah, I want to do this, or no, not so much. And then it's so much easier. So I don't waste time on things that I don't feel enthusiastic about in the long run. So that's how for business this is crucial because I started so many projects, so many collaborations with people that in the long run, I didn't want to do that in the long run. So it was like I decided on the high. And then afterwards, I was like, oh, I should never have done that. So this is an example. Other examples, like for instance, the projector example, that because you know things, you see things, and then you start initiating things, and you're like, yeah, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to offer this because I know people need this. And then no one is buying. And then you're like, why aren't they buying? Well, the reason is you were not invited. So you just need to send out the signal without hope or agenda. This is what I have. If you want it, invite me. So then people come to you and like, this program that you were talking about, how does it work exactly? And that's when you get invited. So that's the thing with projectors. They are like screaming. It's Dory, in Finding Nemo, like, pick me. And that's the thing you don't want to do as a projector. It's just to have this calm energy that you have. Just send out the signal, tell people that you're there, tell them what you offer, tell them how they can work with you. and the right people will come to you. And that makes such a big difference. It saves you a lot of frustration in business. It saves you a lot of exhaustion. It saves you time and money. I mean, I bought programs that I never should have bought if I would have honored my authority, my decision making process. But I bought it on the high because the person who sold it was incredibly good at, I don't know, NLP, marketing, whatever. And the fast action bonuses were like, oh yeah, I want the program. But after 2 or 3 days, I was like, why did I do this? I shouldn't have done this. So, th- so why does it make a difference in business? This is why.
Yeah, it can definitely help with the decision-making process, and like you said, it saves so much headache. Yes. So, but,
Absolutely.
uh, when you're working with others, how can you navigate between your energies and someone else's energies?
Yeah, so it really helps if you know, first of all, you know and understand your own design. And then it's very helpful to understand the other person's design. And then you can see how it matches and where you have certain sensitivities. Because, especially in your design, when you look at the body graph, that's the image with the 9 squares and triangles. When you look at that and you see some of them are white, it means that you're sensitive to other people's energy. And that could be great in one way, and of course, it also has a downside. And when you know this and understand this, it's so helpful, especially when you collaborate with other people. First of all, to understand their energy type. Because if I want to work with someone, I'm a generator. So I'm great. And so this is in my design. I love learning, I love knowledge, but I also go through life experiencing, experimenting, testing, trying. This is the way I go through life. And if I would collaborate with a projector who is much more like observing and is not the same energy type as me, doesn't mean that we cannot collaborate, but we need to be in alignment when it comes to choosing the right project and the way we want to work together. I have a more consistent energy than a projector. So when I collaborate with a projector, I need the projector to understand that he or she needs more rest and needs more time to recover. He or she needs more time alone. Whereas I love being around people because that gets my energy going. So it's really important to understand, first of all, your own design and the other person's design, and then it can really help you to decide, like, this is the right person for me to collaborate with, or perhaps we're not the perfect match. And it's all good because it saves you a lot of time, energy, and headaches, actually.
Wow, that's so funny because I definitely need a lot of rest. I'll do maybe 3 shows, no more than 4 shows in a day, and I have others in the evening,
Mm.
and then I'm just exhausted. I'm pretty spent by 3 p.m. is usually when I start
Yeah.
getting super tired.
Yeah.
But hey, Nicoline, we only have a few minutes left. Is there anything you wanna leave the audience before we go?
Yeah, so what I would love the audience to do is check out their own design and really dive deep into it, because what happens a lot, and I think it's a human thing, we think of our flaws as, oh, I need to work on that, I need to improve that, I need to change that. But actually what you think is a flaw is actually your asset. And that's what I really want you to do, to check out your human design, have a look. I think in the show notes there will be a link to my site, but find it anywhere because there are great human design practitioners out there. Look at your design and reframe the thought of what you think of as a flaw and turn it really into a strength, because each and every person on this planet has an incredibly beautiful design. And all, between our quotes, you need to do is start working with it. And the magic will happen once you really start leaning into it. and it's incredible.
Wow, thank you so much, and yes, we're definitely gonna leave your contact information in the show notes for anybody that wants to have their human design chart done. I wanna thank you, Nicoline, for coming on, and I
Yeah,
wanna
thank
thank
you.
thank you so it's been great, honestly. I wanna have you back on because there's some stuff I wanted to ask.
That's great. Let's do that. Let's do that. All right.
It really
Thank you so much, Dexter.
no problem, no worries, and thank you everybody for tuning in to this episode of I Am Soup. I hope you have a great rest of your day.